Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, we're just doing all Rostermania and beta talk. If you guys enjoy this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. We're gonna wait. We're gonna make Brad wait a little bit to talk about what he really wants to talk about, because we had some bombs dropped on the timeline right before we started, which I'm very glad these dropped because Brad and I last week we talked about a lot of the potential roster stuff and the rumors floating around and everything we're hearing. Obviously Brock was gone. We'll talk a little bit about some of those rosters, but so much changes week to week that half the stuff Brad and I talked about last week isn't even applicable anymore. Because a couple of these guys are associated on the potential rosters that are holding everything up. We'll talk about them next. We're gonna start with the Ghosty and Envoy stuff, but Scrap and Hydra are holding up all of Rostermania right now. They are,
Yep.
I mean, they're the two dominoes that once they fall, all the other dominoes can fall. But there are at least 3 teams now that we know of bidding on them. I got to imagine the team that's not getting reported as bidding on them is Falcons. I got to imagine maybe Falcons are potentially trying to bid on them as well, just knowing their money situation. But we have lots of reports of them, potentially going to certain places. But the first thing is from about an hour ago. Ghost of Hope sources: Boston M80, the team who is rumored to be taking over for Boston, are currently targeting Envoy and Ghosty for the MW4 CDL season, with the organization looking to build around the duo who have won 3 events together. It's unclear if Envoy and Ghosty will go to M80 at this time, given the offers from top teams, but sources indicate the salaries and contracts remain competitive against the top teams looking to pick them up. Offers have also been made to Estriel, Abizi, and others. So I think first and foremost, the by far most important blurb or sentence from that tweet is that sources indicate the salaries and contracts remain competitive against the top teams looking to pick them up. I think that's by far and away the most important thing from that tweet is that they are competitive in terms of salaries, because that's a big thing. They're a new org coming in, and they may have to establish themselves. They may have to prove to players, what kind of org they are. But the fact that they are coming in and offering competitive salaries is a huge step up from what we were getting from current day Boston Breach. Now, I won't slander Boston Breach as much as other orgs because they did try for a while until the funding on their end kind of backed out. So Boston gets a little bit of a pass because they did, when they first came in, they tried. They tried to build a roster. They paid. They had a facility. They tried. But M80, that's the biggest part. We'll talk about the roster in a sec, but first point I wanted to really hammer home was the fact that they're trying on salaries.
I mean, that's good because if they're not paying that much, like the top tier players are not gonna go there.
Yeah, because they have the double-edged sword, right? Of they're not proven. They haven't ever really been in COD, so people don't know about them in the COD scene maybe very well. And if they weren't paying, they would end up with the worst roster in the league potentially because nobody's going to trust them. But now the fact that they're coming in to pay, if you're willing to pay what the top teams are paying, that instantly gives me a trust that like you're going to put resources and effort into this. Like you're not just going to shell out money and then not give us a facility or not give us a coaching staff or support. Like you're going to be supporting us. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's huge. I guess other piece of it, Envoy and Ghosty, 2 of the players they are targeting. Some other names mentioned, Estriel and Abizi, but it seems like from this report, Envoy and Ghosty are the primary targets. Kind of get a sub, get an AR to build around. What are your guys' thoughts on those 2? I have some pretty strong thoughts on those 2 as a duo, especially them targeting them for their first season, but I want to get your thoughts. Brad, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Brock.
I don't know. I like it because we've seen Ghosty like when he's thrusted into that. I need to kind of take over the team to start out, and he did that in Major 1. I mean, obviously Neptune finished off the Major 1 MVP, but I mean, Ghosty was insane, especially early on there. So I feel like they think that like, okay, if we do end up getting more and more talent around those 2, then we'll have like a good IGL team leader kind of player in Ghosty. And then it's kind of a similar thing with Envoy. They're securing 2 vets that know the game, could play it right, and then have their pop-offs. But you know that if you do end up getting more star power, those guys can kind of reel it back, play that OBJ or whatever needs to win. And I think that those 2 are very good to start off with, and then kind of focus on your slaying afterwards.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. Yeah, I like the duo, Brock.
For me, if they get Envoy and Ghosty, it basically means they're gonna win at least one major.
That's pretty much how it goes.
They won't even won everywhere else, and like I said, two vets that one time come towards champs and stuff. They show out usually.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think it's one of the best places to start ever for building blocks if they're able to get them, because as a brand new organization, unless you are offering Falcons type money, like significantly more than everybody else, you're probably not going to get a scrap, a Hydra, or both, because they're probably not going to take a risk and go to a first year org, um, unless they're obviously paying the ridiculous amount. But
Yeah,
if the salaries are even and they can go to LAT or Faze or Gentlemates, they're probably going to pick those other teams just because
yeah,
they have an established history. You know what you're getting from the org in terms of support. You know what I mean. Like what you're getting all around. Um, so if the salaries are roughly the same, you're probably going to go to that more safe space.
Mhm.
Whereas, sorry, I'm bringing over a couple tweets. Whereas, if this new team is a little bit more of a question mark, but I think this is a great place to start. Interesting, they've also made offers to Estriel and Beasy, because obviously that's not going to be a team of four, but I wonder if those are kind of contingency plans.
Right.
On the off chance that Ghosty and Envoy don't work, because we do know there are some other potential spots Ghosty and Envoy could go, really, namely one other spot they could go. But I love this from M80. I love that they're casting
Mhm.
a wide net. I love that they're trying to get a BZ Estriel, like they're reaching out to some top players, the Envoy Ghosty duo. I think it's a great duo. Um, because, well, here's the original tweet. I'll pull this one up first. So, goes to Pope. This was at 10 a.m. Central Time this morning. Pope tweeted a tweet of LA Thieves when Nate Shot, like originally back in 2024, announced the Ghosty Scrap Hydra Envoy that roster for the BO6
hmm
roster. And he
yep.
said, I'm hearing that a BO6 LAT reunion may be the likely scenario for MW4 currently. So that was this morning. That's what I planned on talking about today. That's what I'm sure you guys planned on talking about today. We planned on saying, hey, BO6 LAT reuniting. So we'll quick, because this may not be the current situation, but we'll quick talk about that. My thoughts on that were, I don't hate it. The team won two majors. They won Major 3 and 4 in Black Ops 6, obviously, as the Scrap and Hydra teams have done. Uh, since they formed together, that team bottomed out at Champs and EWC, had horrible finishes at those two events compared to their standards. They were the favorite going into BO6 Champs after coming off back to back event wins. They were the
Yep.
favorites. They obviously bottom out, but I thought, you know what? I like this roster a lot still. I mean, the issue with Thieves, maybe with Scrap and Hydra, maybe they need, players to play more on the hill, more objective, focused. And Dan and Envoy are going to do that. And I think Dan and
hmm
Envoy are still playing at a high level. Scrap and Hydra are that many more years into their career. I like this team. It's kind of what my thought. I was like, this team could win events again this year.
Yeah, I fully agree. Yeah, I feel like they kind of hit the panic button after kind of bottom out the last two majors.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I get it also because they want to win now.
It's kind of
Yeah.
that debate that people have about like how in football, basketball, baseball, whatever sport it is, whatever sport you want to say, like talking from an American sport lens, I guess, you don't ever, I mean, you do see it sometimes, but like, that was the first year that team formed. Let's say you have, a basketball team and you make a core of players in the NBA, and like you make it like, I don't know what the equivalent, obviously, of winning two majors and losing bad at champs is. I guess it'd be like maybe having a really good regular season and losing in like the first or second round. But like if you make a core in the NBA and it's young players and they're all really good, they're all viewed as top players, and you have like a 55 win regular season and you lose in the second round, you don't just blow up the team instantly the next year after 1 year. You know what I mean? So it
Right.
is an interesting difference that I have seen a lot of debate on, where Optic kind of takes a different model. Optic is very reluctant to make roster changes throughout their whole history. They get Scump and
Yeah.
Formal, they get Scump and Nade Shot, they get Crim, they get Dashy and Shotzi right now, and they kind of find a core of players, and unless they absolutely have to, they want to stick it out. Like they want to stick
hmm
with their team, and I do think that is part of the reason we always see Optic towards the top since the dynasty formed, is because they're willing to stick with players, and these players have so much more chemistry and ability to play together. Whereas like you said, Brock, the panic button might have been hit, on this LAT team. And like you said, also, I get it because that's what you do in COD. Like, what team sticks together after getting last at champs and a terrible placement in the EWC? Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But it is interesting how like maybe teams could stick together more year to year, because the tough reality is one team can win champs every year. Like, so
hmm
if every team
Yeah.
has to guaranteed break up, if you don't win champs, it's a tough spot. Like that means we're having 11 rosters change every single year, guaranteed.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's an interesting situation, but I would have loved the roster. It still could happen. It's not off the table, but I do think it's a good roster if it forms. I mean, it has a history of winning. It's just a matter of, do the players really want to play together? I feel like that could be like a, we couldn't get this, we couldn't get this, so we'll settle for this. I don't, if it's something they settle for, I don't necessarily know if it'll go well, but if it's something they want, I think it could go really well.
Agreed.
That leads us to this. About 10 minutes before we started recording, this article comes out from Ronnie, a bomb from Ronnie at 5:15 Central Time. Faze
Ooh.
Vegas targeting Scrap and Hydra. Just weeks after winning the CDL championship, Faze Vegas roster could be about to change dramatically. Sources tell us that the organization is actively pursuing superstar duo of Scrap and Hydra, who also reportedly hold offers from LAT and Paris Gentlemates. So, no Falcons listed in there. Still, the chance to play alongside Simp on the reigning champions may end up being the most attractive path forward for the pair. If a deal with FaZe comes together, 04 is expected to be moved, along with one of the team's AR players, either Draza or Abuza. Sources also indicate Aluka could be brought in to fill whichever AR spot isn't taken by Scrap, so meaning both Abuza and Draza would then be gone in that situation. Complicating that plan, FaZe already has an offer on the table from Riyadh Falcons to sign Aluka to a permanent deal, meaning his future may not be up to FaZe alone. Basically, what he's saying there is like Aluka could really push FaZe and be like, I don't want to play here. I want to go to Falcons and take that offer. Obviously, I do think FaZe have, at the end of the day, I think he's under contract with FaZe, so like they do have the final
Yeah.
say. Like if they don't want to sell him to Falcons, they don't have to.
Right.
My initial thought with the Aluka piece is that may end up being one of the best signings they've had because we know Falcons. What do we know about Falcons? They have a lot of money and they're willing to pay it.
Like
So
to
my
pay the
thought is,
money.
and we also know about FaZe, there's a lot of talk around the community, is they maybe don't pay the best. They are a really good team, but they don't necessarily maybe pay to the level of a Gentlemates, of an Optic, of a Falcons. I would say are kind of like the top three. I know Thieves pays pretty well, but I don't know if they pay to that level. Obviously, nobody pays to the Falcons level. But that's kind of a long-standing rumor of like last offseason why there was some turmoil maybe about players trying to go somewhere is they're always just trying to get their contracts up because maybe they don't pay as well over in the FaZe camp. Not 100% fact, but that's kind of the rumor that goes around. So my thought for FaZe is that's true and you're maybe not willing to spend as much on the roster, as you need to. Well, Scrap and Hydra are free agents. So you don't have to work on a buyout with them, which helps a ton because that would really raise the price. And my thought
Yeah.
is if you get a bunch of money in for Luka, that could be then allocated to the Scrap and Hydra fund, as well as I believe Abuza, 04, Draza, all three under contract, and all are going to be very soft. If they're trying to get rid of, I would assume it's Draza and 04 they're trying to get rid of. I would assume Abuza would be the guy they keep, just with the Scrap Draza relationship.
We need to scrap and draws on the
I'm talking about.
team.
I don't want him
The
on
team
me, to be
needs to
honest. I want him
happen.
to keep fighting.
No,
I
I want to see them fighting each other on the same side.
Well, I think it's most likely that they sell off Draza. Either way, Draza or Booza are going to have a big
Yeah.
market. No matter which one it is, they're both going to have a
Right.
big market. So I'm saying, like, if they're selling off, let's say it's Draza, just for the talking point, let's say it's Draza and 04. 04 is coming off a year where he won MVP, could have won Champs MVP. Draza is coming off an awesome year where he won an event in Champs and was really, really good all year. So those two are going to sell for a lot. Luka's going to sell the Falcons for a lot. And you might be able to just from then use a lot of that money towards Scrap and Hydra, and then you're looking at a team of Abuza, Scrap, Hydra, Simp.
Yeah, that's a solid team. I think a boost is going to hold them back, but yeah, that's a good team.
That team is
Wait, just
that
like
team
this
is
year?
gross.
Hold them back?
Yeah, just like this year.
That team is gross.
It would be a nasty team.
Yeah.
And I think I do have a little bit of questions of like, again, it's the whole like superstar building thing of like, when it comes down to it, will they be able to like, get that win? But like, there's something in my head where like, you look at the roster they formed this year, meta shift, whatever, didn't really work out right away and like the talent stacking aspect, but like the Simp wins, man. He just wins, and every year he just wins with what he does.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Simp is a different anomaly. I truly think Simp can win with damn near any roster you throw him on. That's how good I think Simp is. I think you give Simp Scrap Hydra, and what I don't really care if it's a Booza, Draza, a Luca. All of them are extremely talented. I would
Yeah.
prefer. I mean, if it take personalities out, I think the best fit for the roster of the three is Draza. Uh, I
Yeah.
think it ends up being a Booza, and my least favorite pick, honestly, is a Luca because I think a Luca is an incredible player, but I think he is more of like the superstar Slayer type. And I don't necessarily want that. I want more of a player who will be willing to do the dirty work, in my opinion, like an Abuza or a Draza.
Yeah.
So either way, though, I think that this team, like, there also comes a point where like Simp is a guy who obviously knows how to win. He's tied for the most rings in CDL history. Like, there's a point too where you just get so delusional. Like Scrap, Simp, and Hydra spawning in together. I mean, that's instantly Scrap and Hydra, the best player. That Simp would be the best player they've ever played with. It's not even a doubt. Like,
Yep.
Right.
it would be insane. In Abuza, like this team would be impossible to outslay. Them versus Optic will be an absolute bloodbath.
Would be a nice match to watch.
Yeah, that would be like watching that match would just make you disappointed to watch the rest of the matches.
Yeah. Like you said, probably a Booza. Best choice so far.
It just I think technically if you could take personalities and relationships out, I think it might be Draza, but with all that accounted for, it's probably Abuza.
Yeah. Abuza just plays the game like just so correct too.
And I think Abuza allows. That's the difference. I think the Abuza duo with. I actually, the more I'm thinking about it, I actually think Abuza might even be better than Draza, even if you don't include the personality thing, just because of the fact that like I kind of want Scrap to just be free to just focus on kills, and
Yeah.
Abuza will allow him to do that. Where I think Draza has a more similar play style to Scrap, where he
Mhm.
also Draza wants to fly. Draza's a fast AR, like, and
Yeah.
Scrap also wants to do the same and just chow. So I don't necessarily like. I mean, they would be incredible together. I'm not saying that, but I do think maybe Abuza frees up Scrap a little more to kind of do his thing. Again, that's nitpicking because I think any of those duels would be disgusting. And I think Luca is the worst fit just because he's a little bit younger, and I think this team would another vet they'd benefit from. A winner, a proven winner like an Abuza or a Draza. But what an absolute wrinkle into Rostermania that we
Mhm.
kind of thought it was Thieves or Gentlemates.
We did.
To me, right now, it feels like it's between. In my opinion, I think it kind of feels like it's between Thieves and Faze. To me, I feel like Gentlemates are kind of the third team. They're still in the race, but I feel
Yeah.
like they're kind of a distant third, in my opinion.
Yeah. I
Which
agree.
Yeah.
is interesting because it seems like Gentlemates would maybe be building around like Joe and I don't even know who else is the AR. They'd probably be like Joe, Scrap, Hydra, and then maybe they keep Ghosty. Maybe they bring on
Potentially.
somebody else, but it just doesn't seem like they're that interested in going there. I don't know if it's maybe they aren't interested in playing with Joe. Maybe they don't think as highly in the pro talks of Joe like the community does because they seem to just like I don't know, like it seems like that offer's out there, but it doesn't really seem like they're from what we see like reciprocating that interest necessarily. Which
Right.
Mhm.
if you're Hydra too, it probably seems like a team you would be interested in, being from France and how big like Hydra would blow up content wise if he were to be on that organization.
Not wrong.
Mhm.
Would absolutely blow up. He'd be the biggest face in the CDL with how big that fan base is. If he's just started streaming in French, like
Yeah.
he'd be the biggest personality in the community. I don't know. What do you think? If you make a pick today, are they going to end up on LA Thieves, Paris, Faze, or other?
LAT. I really want to say Gentlemates because that's where I kind of want them to go, but I think they're gonna end up back in LAT.
With Ghosty and Envoy?
Yeah.
I'll go Phase.
You're gonna go Faze, you think? I feel like Gentlemates, in my opinion, are for sure third. In terms of most
Yeah.
likely. I think LAT are if I had to like do a meter, I think in my head, I think LAT are the most likely. Just because I feel like it has the least barriers. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Scrap and Hydra have been there the last couple of years. It's easy to resign. Envoy and Ghosty have also had long-term storied stints on LAT. So like, and they're both unrestricted free agents. So like, there
Right.
definitely is the most or the least barriers to get that Thieves roster done. They're all free agents. They can all sign there. They all have a history with the
Yeah.
organization, which is a big thing. Like they know that they like to play there. Faze has to go through a potential Luca buyout and then sign these two, decide between the AR. But I think in terms of where Scrap and Hydra want to play, I feel like this Faze roster is where they want to be.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I think it's Simp. Like Simp has just that gravitational pull for rosters. Like everybody wants to team with him. You don't get a chance too often because he doesn't change rosters a lot.
Yeah.
Like he had his BO4 roster, he came in, had his MW19 roster, and then from there he was with the trio of a BZ, Celium, and him, and then they would rotate in Celium, Slasher, Draza, Arcides, whoever it was. They just rotated in that fourth, but he doesn't change a lot. So when you get the chance to maybe latch on to him, you do it. So I think
Simp's
Scrap
gonna
and
make the
Hydra,
call.
yeah, I think Scrap and Hydra are pushing hard
Yeah.
to get this done. It's just a matter of will Faze get it done because I think they would strongly prefer playing with Simp and Abuza over running it back with their old BO6 roster that failed towards the end of the year.
Yeah, probably.
Agreed.
Either way, cinema. This is why Rostermania is one of the best parts of the year.
We need more to come out.
Yeah, we just need Scrap and Hydra to sign because then all the other stuff will happen.
Yeah.
All right. The other thing we have here, Luca. Falcons make an official approach for Luca. He's recently experienced remarkable success in his debut year, excelling in two of the biggest tournaments. He helped transform Falcons from a team that was ranked in the mid pack into a serious contender, finishing top 4 at both of the biggest tournaments of the year. Sources have informed us that Falcons have made an official offer to Faze Vegas to bring the young prodigy back to the organization on a permanent deal. This is expected to be just one of the bids Faze receives for Aluka, as both LAT and Gentlemates are showing interest in the flex player. This is also, again, from August 20th, so things could have changed. With a limited number of available assault rifles on the market, the situation places Faze in a strong negotiating position. Vegas has also had internal discussions about moving him into the starting lineup for their 2027 roster. Expect Luka to be a key piece of the Rostermania cycle. So basically, sounds like Falcons really want him. Faze is still considering, especially if they get the Scrap Hydra duo, of putting him into the lineup. And LA Thieves and Gentlemates both have shown interest. We know there was a potential of a Scrap, a BZ, Hydra sticking and then bringing on a Luca to replace Neum, which again would also, in my opinion, be a very good roster. Not my favorite in terms of the roster Scrap and Hydra could have, but it's another one. And interesting that Gentlemates showing interest. I would imagine it's like a Joe and a Luca team of 2 kind of thing.
Right.
But not surprised that Luca has a lot of interest. He's a young player who showed incredible ability in his first ever tournament, first 2 tournaments. So not at all surprised, but I do, if I had to place a bet on it, I do think Falcons are going to end up, because the money that FaZe can get into then, shell out to build a roster. I do think Falcons are going to end up with a Luca, and I like it. He looked good in that team. I think it's a good spot for him, and I'm sure he's getting paid.
Oh yeah,
agreed.
Any other thoughts on Luca? You think he's going to Falcons, or you think he's going elsewhere?
Falcons. There's no way they let him walk. Not again.
FaZe has control of him.
I know. There's no way they're not gonna just not sign him, unless FaZe starts him. But I think Luca is gonna go to the Falcons because they're gonna push and probably offer a boatload of money.
You see those dollar signs,
Yeah, for real.
I need a
Gentlemates feels like an extreme long shot here again, just because I think Falcons, if it gets into a bidding war, Falcons will pay more. Although Gentlemates are apparently willing to shell it out. So who knows? Maybe we could be wrong there, but it feels like Falcons would win a bidding war, or if he doesn't go to Falcons, it seems like FaZe will just promote him to the roster. So Gentlemates feels like a long shot, which is so interesting because Gentlemates have so much to offer as an org. They care a ton. Yeah. They have an insanely big fan base. They're willing to spend a ton on salaries, more than most orgs. They have a really good player under contract to build around in Joe. And they showed last year that they are here and to play, and they're a good organization. And it seems like they're kind of the afterthought for a lot of these roster changes. It seems like they're everybody's third choice, which is very interesting because they're a premier org.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they're kind of the afterthought to the Thieves and FaZe, roster building, which is interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about this. We'll talk about this after. Next thing, Miami Heretics. Brad, they are expected to scale back CDL operations, offering minimum salaries with bare bones staffing. There was tweets from Metals and Real today that they are unrestricted free agents. Confusing because Real apparently, according to reports, had signed a 3-year deal. That was through 2028. This in the middle of
Yep.
the season with Heretics. Metals, not surprised he's a free agent. It wouldn't be shocking if his contract was up. He's been there for a while. Very interesting. The top comment is another follower from CDL Intel. With Misfits still owning the franchise spot, it's possible elements of the Mutineers branding could return in some capacity, or they'll sell the spot in its entirety if they can find a buyer. So I kind of forgot about that because it's been so long. But Misfits, who was like the Mutineers parent org, I forgot that they had like basically loaned out the spot to Miami Heretics instead of actually fully sold it. They kind of just like leased it over to Miami to use the branding. So I mean, Mutineers are like my favorite branding in the CDL history. So I would love to see that back just for the branding aspect. But just yet another, with Boston coming in, we're like, hey, we were just talking about Brad and I were talking about last week. Hey, if the new Boston team comes in and they're trying, we're just left with like Carolina and C9, who basically aren't
Yep.
trying.
Yep.
Well, one step forward and 2 steps back because now we're left with another team that, unless they're able to find somebody to take their spot and sell it, Bush, please,
Do it.
No kidding.
they are. We're just back to a team that's offering minimum salaries, bare bones staffing.
Unluck.
Yeah. Brad, your boys are dead.
They're
Shot
50
dead
caliber.
on the scene.
This
50
is
caliber
like,
to the head, dude.
they always talk about that. Remember,
Worst
like
case
college
scenario.
football or college programs, the death sentence. Like this is the death sentence. When you see that they're scaling back operations and offering minimum salaries with bare bones staffing, that means Brian Saint is doing your socials. That means
yeah.
they're getting the C9 roster. They're gonna have a single coach, no analysts. They're gonna have nobody doing
Focus is coming
socials. They're gonna
back.
be playing from home, no facility.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like this is the death sentence. It's all downhill from here. They're just not gonna be good. There's just no chance they're good ever.
Right. Yeah, I was eating my lunch and then I got the tweet saying, "Oh, Real's an unrestricted free agent." Then I clicked on the notifications right underneath it an hour earlier. Metals is an unrestricted free agent. I'm like, "Oh, so the whole team is gone. This is good." Well, I wonder what's gonna happen. I'm like, okay, maybe that just frees up cash, re-sign Super Rancor, and then like they offer Trakes and what's his face, Eric Boom, because they're younger players, they might not cost as much. And then I got that tweet, yeah, just get them out of the league. I mean, I'm not gonna be a fan of another Paris Legion, not again. Get them out of the league. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, the Mutineers like stuff would be really cool, but it's gonna be for a crappy team. Like, it'd be so cool to see the Mutineers in like a grand finals, like that kind of like get up. But I mean, with this drawback, oh, we're gonna take cash away, no staff, no minimum contracts. Who the hell is gonna want to sign there? Like Ryan said, it's literally gonna be carbon copy of C9 again. Like, and that's not good for the league. Just give them as Ryan said, spear them. Just get them out, dude. Yeah, it's embarrassing, honestly, and especially I would have thought like since they came in second at EWC, they got some money. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it's arguably their probably most successful season. I mean, second at EWC is by far their highest placing. And at a big tournament nonetheless. And it's just, yeah, I think it's bullshit. And I think it's just, death sentence. Get them out of the league.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I guess like my initial thought of like, why is this happening? I think like, okay, so like Super and Rencor are free agents, unrestricted from everything we know, and obviously now Metals Real are, but like I wonder if Heretics, like if the lease is up and they have to pay a bunch more, to keep the roster spot. I wonder if they're looking at it like maybe Rencor has offers and Rencor has told them like he's leaving. And they're
Right.
looking at it like they're Heretics, they're a Spanish brand, they want to keep all Spanish speaking players, and maybe they're looking at it and they're like, where do we go? Like if we lose Rencor, we sign super metals and Real back and we bring in Eric Boom or trade like what kind of paying a bunch of money to
True.
get top 6 again at best, like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
lose our best player in Rencor. Like there isn't a lot of upcoming Spanish talent. I don't know that. I'm saying that maybe that's what they're seeing, but like maybe they're like I just don't know. Like we kind of hit our ceiling. We used the best Spanish speaking players we could for how long, and it's not worth it for us to keep paying misfits for this spot. Is like maybe what they're thinking. I don't know. Like that's why I
Mhm.
would think they're thinking. But yeah, it's brutal. Um,
Yeah.
a fun org, like keeping the Spanish speaking scene involved and keeping Spain as a fan of them. It's a fun org to have in the league. A little bit like sometimes unfortunate because like they're kind of handicapped on what they can do as a roster. So like the improvements
Mhm.
were hard to make because they didn't have a lot of players to choose from. But also
Right.
kind of fun because like we said, that like continuity aspect that some teams miss. Like I feel like individually, like these aren't the best players. Like
Right.
besides Rencor, like who could be like a star in other teams, like I feel like everybody else was like kind of just Real had his moments, I guess, but like super metals kind of whatever. Like as players, Super's numbers are maybe a little deceiving for what he puts up, but like
Yeah.
I think like they were fun because I think they were far more competitive than like the sum of the parts was a lot better than the individual players because I
Mhm.
feel like that they stuck together forever. They had played so long together. There's so much chemistry there. It's kind of what we were talking about earlier about teams breaking up so fast. Like the individuals in this team probably were making up like a top 8 team at best, but they had flashes where there was a run in BO6 where they were pretty widely considered a top 4 team. Like
Yeah.
and it's just I think due to the continuity, so it's a sad thing to see them go because they do have a relatively storied history, in COD dating back to really BO4 when they were in the pro
Hmm.
league and stuff. They have a relatively storied history, so kind of sad to see them potentially bow out as much as I love the Mutineers branding. It's like an end of an era. It kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Hmm. Unfortunate.
It's just a state of the league kind of thing, which makes me want to bring up. I have Ronnie Intel's. You can take a look at his stream here. I had it up for a sec. I wanted to see what he was saying. He went offline. Well, I'll pull up the screenshot that I had. Um, but this reminds me, the Miami thing reminds me of uh, this here from Easy Mac. Easy Mac, one of the goats of stats in the scene. I used to work a lot in stats in college COD league, so good guy to follow if you like, the stats part of it. Um, he, tweeted the problem with the CDL is the misbelief that you can have every org operating at the same level and competitive. It's not realistic. There will always be bad teams. That's why there just has to be, 2 to 3 X the teams, make the field much bigger. Like he's saying, like there's always gonna be bad teams. It's not realistic that every org can be operating and at the same level and competitive. Um, and I agree, but I put a reply to that tweet because I was like, I just don't agree. Like, I don't know. Your thoughts on that tweet first. Like the exact tweet itself is the problem with the CDL is the misbelief that you can have every org operating at the same level and competitive. That's kind of the part I was replying to when reading it is like, I agree. Just like in any sport, every team is not going to be good. Every football team is not going to be
Hmm.
good because this the reality is some teams have more talent than others because they drafted better, they signed better free agents, they developed better, whatever it is in whatever sport. Teams are going to be
Mhm.
better and teams are going to be worse. Same thing in
Yeah.
COD. Like some teams are going to be better than others, some teams are going to be worse, some teams are going to have a little more resources. Like an Optic, because of their fan base, is going to have a little more pull than a Carolina Royal Ravens. Like LAT, same thing because of the ownership and everything, they're going to have a little bit more pull. But I said I think the frustrating part is the teams who put forth zero effort. Like sure, some teams are going to have more financial resources, but like we have to at least try to field a competitive team for the argument to stand. Like
Right.
Carolina Royal Ravens have their coach running socials, being the GM, paying the
Doing it
players. Like
all.
he's doing every single thing. And Optic has a full content staff, a full social media staff, an involved ownership group, a facility for the players to stream and play at. Like I understand like teams are going to have different, financial resources potentially, but like we are talking like this team isn't even meeting the bare minimum. They have one guy doing the and running the entire org, and then they're paying the guys $10 an hour. Like,
Right.
Hmm.
I, so I do agree. Like every org isn't going to be operating at the same level and going to be an elite team, but there's a big margin between every team operating at the same level and having a competitive team and just completely not trying. Like there's a big difference.
Yeah.
Like you can be a team that's paying lower salaries but really doing your work in challengers and really digging through, talking to coaches down there, talking to different org owners down there, hitting up Rafi from Omid and really talking to him and really digging in and finding who the next Luca, who the next Merc, like try to get those guys early, sell them off to make more money, sign players. Like there's different levels of effort you can put in if you don't have that money. So I don't know,
Right.
just an interesting thing with the CDL and the misbelief thing that Easy Mac was talking about. I just don't agree that it is a misbelief that every org will operate at the same level and all be equally competitive, but it's not a misbelief that you should have to try if you're in the league. Like, you know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
I love Easy Mac, but I saw that and I was like, I just don't agree. Like, every org isn't going to be competitive. 100% agree with him on that, but like Ronnie replied to it and said, it's like people don't watch sports. Bad teams have to and will always exist. And I just feel like that's missing the point.
Yeah.
Like, yes, bad teams are always going to exist. All of us here watch a lot of sports. Like, bad teams are always going to exist, but like, there's a difference between being bad and not trying and being bad, but you're still trying. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the team I think of recently, Brock, is MW2. Before Brad was in the pod, remember, like, there was the clear, I forget, but there was the clear top four. It was like Optic Thieves, New York, and Toronto going into the year.
Mhm.
Everybody's like, this is the top four, and everybody else is whatever. But remember, the entire community was like, Boston. They're the fifth team. Like,
Yep.
they're the fifth best team. They were the worst team that year. Like,
So
and everybody was like, Boston, this team is awesome. We love their rosters, like the Slasher, Snoopy, Priesta, and Capsidal, or whoever it was. Like, I remember going into that year, everybody was like, this team is great. They're going to be the fifth best team. Like, they're a really good team. They were literally the worst team. That's a perfect example of Boston tried. They fielded what everybody thought was a good roster. They paid well. Everybody in the community thought they were going to be good, but they sucked. That's what you need. Teams that are actively trying, but it doesn't work out. That's okay. Like, if you put forth the effort, you have the financial, you have the facility, you shelled out the right salaries to be competitive, and it just didn't work out because the roster didn't work. Okay, that's cool. Like,
Yep.
But it's the not trying aspect that we can't stand.
Yeah.
I'm with you. You said nailed it right on the head.
All right. Let's see. All right, last thing I want to do is show this Ronnie thing. I took a screenshot from Ronnie's stream. He was kind of like playing around with rosters and like what he thought might happen. Obviously, he had Optic with the same roster. He had Falcons team of 3 with Kismet, Exonid, Celium. At the time I looked at his stream, he had the team of 2. The teams I want to focus on is he said he thought right now, when the time I clicked on a stream again, he could have changed this, but the time I clicked on a stream just like less than an hour ago, he thought Luca gets promoted with the trio of Sim, Scrap, Hydra was his thought. And he does have a lot of intel. That was his thought, is Luca's promoted to go along with Sim, Scrap, Hydra, which technically may be the cheapest. If they have a Luca under contract, then all they have to do is sign Simp and Hydra. They sell off 04 and Abuza and Jiraza. And really, they do like 3 players out, sale for 2 players in, and they probably could save a lot of money. So honestly, financially, maybe that does make the most sense. And it seems like where there's smoke, there's fire. From this Rostermania, we've seen a Luca linked to Scrap and Hydra a lot. So I think they're very interested in playing with him. I do think that's real. Because we keep seeing it linked together, and when you keep seeing it and keep seeing it and keep seeing it, it feels like, you know what I mean? It feels like Luca is a guy that they want to play with. And I don't blame him. Luca's really talented.
Right.
But then he has Gentlemates as Abuza, Draza, 04, and Joe. So basically, he has that Faze trio from last year that won with Simp. Pick him up, put him on Gentlemates and team with Joe, which is an awesome team.
That is an awesome team.
Really, really good team. Again, I think it's a downgrade for that trio because I don't know how you could say going from Simp to Joe is an upgrade. Simp is a better player than Joe. Joe's incredible, but he's a downgrade from Simp. Like, Simp's a 15-time champion, 3-time world champion. Joe has played in 1 finals. Joe is very good, but Simp is just a different level than basically anybody in the league. It's not a slight to be below Simp. Pretty much everybody is. It's not a slight to be below Simp. But But thoughts on that gentleman's roster? Basically, take the roster from Faze this year and put Joe on it. Still a very good team. Still a contender to win events, in my opinion.
I like it.
I mean, that team is insane. I mean, Joe, we've seen what he can do. I think Simp just knows the game better right now. But I mean, you have 3 experienced veterans that can all play the game right. They have experience in the grand finals. I don't know. I think that team will be very successful next year if that happens.
Yeah. I have another thing to show on the reply to that tweet. The other interesting thing here that he filled in, don't know what intel comes from this, but obviously we know like it's Breach, but we know it's M80. He has them basically taking their EWC team, and inserting Ghosty in for Beans. So he has Nasty staying on the roster with Ghosty, Kremp, Envoy. I like that team.
Okay, yeah, that's a
If
solid team.
if M80 were to come in and that's the first roster they field, I would be okay with that. Ghosty, Nasty, Kremp, Envoy. I don't think they
Wait,
beat, the Gentlemates, the Faze, the Optics of the world. But I think that team comes in, and I do think they're probably a top 5 team on the year. We have to see how all the other rosters shake out, obviously. But that team has top 6 potential to, be around the top half of the league all year. I feel like, we've seen Ghosty, Nasty, Kremp all play together on LAT. Obviously, basically, Joe would be replaced by Envoy. I don't know that the ceiling is like super high in this team because like Kremp would have to really take over, I feel like, for the ceiling to be raised in this team. But I think it's a team with a high floor. Like I think this team is basically guaranteed to be top 6 the whole year. You know what I mean? I think they have a high floor. Like I don't think they're ever going to be bad.
Yeah.
I don't think that team. Like obviously, I think Kremp is going to be the X factor. Like you said, he's going to have to improve a lot in order to be like kind of that head honcho sub player.
I mean, he's really
But
good, but he's going to
isn't
have to be a superstar.
right? And isn't Kremp? He's not a free agent, is he? I thought he was still with Rocker.
I believe he is, but I'm assuming
They'd buy him out.
yeah, because I don't know that G2 is necessarily like. I don't know if they're willing to spend a ton. I don't know. Maybe Kremp is a free agent we just haven't heard, but I doubt it. But yeah, I could see him getting bought out. I mean, M80 is apparently willing to spend, so.
Right.
But that's who he has on M80, so that's interesting. And I would like the roster. Rock,
Yeah, that's a fun
Nasty,
team.
Ghosty, Kremp, Envoy. I think it's not the highest ceiling, but I think it's a high. I think it's a good starting point for a new org. Like I think you're gonna gain some fans. You have some really popular players in like Ghosty and Envoy specifically. Obviously with both of them being on Optic previously, both of them being on Thieves, both of them being on Gentlemates. Like you're talking some, they've gotten a lot of fans around them, over the years. So I feel like they're a good start because you're bringing 2 very popular players on, and you have a high floor. Like you're going to come in, and your name's going to be everywhere because you're going to be playing top 6, top 4 in a lot of tournaments. So it's going to be a good way to introduce yourself to the league. Any other thoughts on him, Brock?
No thoughts.
Mhm.
Except Nasty.
Yeah, Nasty. He gets on that team again, I guess. I had one other thing I wanted to pull from that tweet we were talking about. After I sent that reply, like more recent tweets, everybody's kind of replying the same thing. Like this guy said, and when teams in real sports are perpetually bad, fans want the owners to sell the team. Teams will always be bad. It doesn't mean we have to. It should be the same team. LAG was terrible. Mates bought the spot and field the competitive roster. Legion were terrible. Falcons bought the spot, field the competitive roster.
BG.
Another reply. Every esports and sports league is like this. I don't think people expect this. I think they just want to try and field a good competitive team. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you can have this guy, you can have bad teams, but when orgs are offering money that people in challenges are declining because when orgs are offering money that people in challenges are declining league spots, there's a big issue. Basically saying like Cloud9 this year. There's a big issue when there's a team literally offering league spots with so little money that players are all declining it. Like, in what other league could you be like, oh, I'm in the NBA G League. Don't give me that NBA contract. Like, I want to stay in the G League. Like, that's when what other
Right.
world is that? Like, who would say that? Doesn't even make logical sense. If you're in the minor leagues of whatever league you're in, if you're like a guy's in AAA baseball, they're trying to call him up to be a starter in the MLB, and he's like, I'm good. I'm staying here. It doesn't make any sense. Like, in what world does that make any logical sense? Like, you're getting a big promotion at work. No, I'm okay. Like, I'll just keep a lower salary. I don't want it. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I like that. That whole argument is just, it's very very odd.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of stuff going on the timeline. In terms of rumors, a lot of fun stuff. I want to end with one of the games on Breaking Point. I just don't know which one. Let's do a little player guesser to end the episode. Player guesser, Brad, give me a name to start us off with.
Aqua.
Aqua. They have
Aqua.
0 rings like Aqua.
Nice.
They played for the Paris Legion, but they were
Ooh.
not teammates with Aqua. And they are younger than him, so they're younger than 29, and they have less wins.
1 chip.
Which means they have 0 chips. Because they have less
Geo.
chips than Aqua's 1.
Wait. 1 tournament win, is that right?
No, you
They
said
have
0 tournament.
They have 0.
Yeah.
'Cause they have less
Geo,
than
maybe?
1.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, does
Oh.
it say what other? Oh, it would just be Legion, right? That's all you're told?
Yeah, because Aqua only played for Paris and LAG.
Too real.
Geo played for Las Vegas Legion, so he doesn't count for Paris Legion.
Oh.
But they have 0 wins and 0 rings like we knew. They were not teammates with Geo. Oh, I forgot this part. They're not American, so that helps a lot.
Oh, shoot. I just wasted a pick.
I want to guess
Oh, wait.
Australian.
Did Scraps?
I want to guess.
Did Scraps play with Aqua?
I want to guess Luca.
Oh.
Bang.
You got him?
Luca. I believe Australian, right? Yeah, Australia, 25. Dude, he's 25? He was 18 when he played in the league. He was in there in MW19.
Damn.
Yeah, he's only 25 now. In 2020, he must have been like freshly 18 when he joined this roster.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luca. Because I noticed he wasn't American, and I was like, well, there's only a few choices. Yeah, Dens, Shocks, Phantoms. Dens and Shocks, the classic Australians, Brock.
Yep.
Resi would have been another option. Zed. Those are the Phantoms and Kismet would work as there, I believe. Phantoms is American. I know
Good
Kismet
poll.
is. Yeah, I think Phantoms is New Jersey. Yeah, Luca. He was so slow. That guy did not move.
Not
Do
wrong.
either of you even remember him from MW19?
Did he play at Black Ops 4, right?
He might have, but I don't think he was ever in like the league or anything.
I swear, I think I remember more from there than MW19 because I didn't really watch MW19.
He definitely was on their team in MW19. He was slow. I remember that he played so slow. All right, unless you guys have anything else, I think we covered all the Rosh stuff I wanted to cover.
Then I got much more.
All right.
Beto's out.
Yeah. Oh my god. Good comms, Brock. I almost completely forgot to talk about the beta. Good comms. All right. Beta thoughts. I don't even know how I forgot that, Brock. I was just looking over. I was so focused on roster stuff, it just slipped my brain. Beta thoughts. Brad, I feel like you probably played the most beta of any of us.
Dude, the PPSH is back. I have it. I almost have it max level. I have it from level like 45 or something like that out of 54. Yeah, one thing I've noticed. So like, I don't know if it's just the beta, but to me the movement feels a little choppy. So like, trying to work through that a little bit. One thing I did was every once in a while, like I try to slide and then I just dolphin dive out of nowhere. So I switched it to a slide only. But I don't know. It's the movement's obviously completely different, so getting used to that a little bit. I think the TTK feels fast, which obviously I think they can slow that down just a little bit. It's similar to MW3, but I think they can raise the TTK so it doesn't kill as fast. I don't think. But otherwise, I feel like the gameplay is fun. The maps, obviously, they're beta maps, so we don't know the full extent. But overall, I think it'll be a solid game. They obviously can fix a few things, but I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't say my expectations have raised or lowered from that yet. I wouldn't be like, this is gonna be a great game. This is gonna be a dog shit game. I think it's kind of right there in the middle. Still, verdict's still out.
Brock?
What are you smiling about right now?
Brad?
Oh.
Brock, Brock, we're in different spots in our life playing COD, in our COD life cycle. Brad still got that glimmer in his eye of hope. Brad's got the glimmer in his eye of delusional hope. Brock and I know what this is.
Oh God,
Dude,
what is it?
It's gonna be awful. I swear.
Oh God,
Time to kill
don't
is
say
so
that.
fast.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope they do something about that.
You know, there was a moment when I played it where I was like, I can feel a little bit of the MW3 vibes, and then I was like, wait, Sledgehammer made MW3. We are absolutely cooked.
Oh shit, that's
We're
a good
So
point.
fast. You literally look around the corner. You don't even see the guy. You're just dead.
The other problem is the
Evaporated.
TTK is so damn fast. You get zapped. I know there was something where they were doing an adjustment of like they were looking at the TTK, but that was like with individual guns, so that's not the actual full time to kill in the game. People were confused with that. They did not say they were looking at the TTK. They said they were looking at adjusting the TTK with certain guns, basically meaning they were looking at nerfing certain guns.
Right.
Yeah.
The issue is in a game like this where I like old school COD and I like I don't love I'm good with the new stuff of like the sliding. Like when I play, I'm good with like the sliding and like finessing because that's my game. I run a sub and I play like Zuma. I flank. I just hit pinches. I like just bang the hill. Like I play a fast sub style. Like when I play, so a game like BO6, BO7, the jetpack games. That's my kind of game because I'm trying to just fly. But I
Same.
appreciate like an old school COD. Like I love that kind of COD as well, like a BO2, even like how Cold War was for a more recent game, for an example. I appreciate that kind of COD as well, where it's slow, it's methodical. Like bad plays get punished because I also can play that way. So I appreciate a COD where like bad plays get punished because that's the one thing I do feel like we miss is like I feel like Brad has never played a COD where hardpoint takes thinking. Like the CDL era of hardpoint is just bang the hill.
Running, just keep running.
Like in Black Ops 2, if you bang the hill in a like what is it, P2? Is it P2 or P4?
Right?
The back on slums in BO2, the hill that's down by where like where the
Ooh.
back lot is, down the double
Mhm.
staircase.
Me too.
It's
Yeah,
P2?
that's
Okay.
yeah.
I can't remember if it flipped to the other side of the map first or not, but yeah. So yeah, because then P3 is the garage, and then P4 goes over to the graveyard, like that side. Yeah, so
Mhm.
P2 on slumps. Like for example, if you have somebody holding that back right alley, you have somebody playing like the mid cut, somebody playing blue, and somebody sitting hill, the guy in the back's blocking. If three of you just run out like idiots and get cut down, you're spawning all the way back graveyard and they're getting to full 60. Like that's how hardpoint, like I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind playing hardpoint like that because like if you can't just run and just play headless and just get lucky and break a hill. Like you actually spawn out and you get punished if you make a bad play. So I don't mind that, and I think this game could be like that, but tax sprinting, man. It was so nice. Without it, last couple years, it's so
Just
nice.
Yeah.
Like
just get it out. I'm
that
so over that.
tax sprinting is terrible. Like especially in a game like this when the TTK is so fast. Like Brad, if you're pre-aiming, you're on a heady, you're pre-aiming. I jump the corner. You're on a heady, you're pre-aiming, you have an AR. Like you should win the fight in most scenarios. I don't disagree with that, but I have no chance to win it now because my gun's in the air. So when I jump the corner, instead of being able to like, I have a chance to snap, and even if I don't kill you, I make you one shot so Brock can follow it up and get the trade. Well, now
Mhm.
it takes also the ADS time is like you get a penalty for everything for ADS. So you can't aim down your sight. So you jump the corner.
Mhm.
Now I can't get my gun down fast enough because it's way up in the air while I'm tack sprinting. And then I can't even get a bullet off when you're on the heady. So it's like it's just the game is so pre-aim heavy because you're tack sprinting everywhere. So you can't get your gun down in time to shoot. I don't
Right.
mind the movement. I do think the movement is nice. The no omni movement takes a little getting used to because you're so used to being able to like slide backwards, slide to the side. I don't mind the no omni movement. I do think like omni movement lowered the skill gap because everybody could move insane. So I don't mind the no omni movement, but the TTK, they gotta like double the TTK. It's so fast. You die so
Yeah.
fast.
That's what I like about Black Ops 7 also. They got rid of tax sprinting.
Yeah. The tax sprinting is so unnecessary. Maybe Warzone, that's about it. But tax sprinting in
Yeah.
multiplayer is just completely unnecessary. What is the point?
Yeah.
Right.
If anything, make it
I
like
agree.
a field upgrade ability to like, oh, you get a little bit extra run speed when you do this.
Yeah.
But it should not be a permanent
Just
thing.
make it a pub thing only.
And
Please
you
don't
can't
have
even
that
turn it
already.
off because if you turn it off, you're at a disadvantage because you're moving slower.
Yeah.
But the tax printing's my biggest gripe. The maps in the beta, Brad.
Not good. Transit's not, but Transit's fun, because it's like just a head bash. But otherwise, yeah, the maps are not great.
Which it's Infinity Ward. If every map in the beta is bad, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's a trend.
Yeah.
I think we're staring on the barrel of bad maps. Too fast of a TTK. The things to not make it all negative for my thoughts in the beta, the things that I have hope, is I do think the gunplay felt pretty decent. I don't think the movement is terrible besides the tax sprint. I think the movement is like pretty fluid. I don't hate it. I think the game visually looks good. That's the thing about Infinity War games. They always visually look good, but that's about the only thing they have going for them usually. Also the third game mode I think looks cool. It has a lot of potential.
True.
The potential third game mode where did you see that one, Brad?
Mm-mm.
It's like uplink. There's like a device you pick up and you can run it in to the point for 2 points, like you would an uplink, or you
Okay.
can like throw it at the point, stick it to it, and you get a point. But when you throw it, the other team can shoot it in midair if you throw it, and it gets destroyed and resets.
Okay.
So that's kind of fun. It sounds like you can pass between teammates as well. Yeah, I think it also, when you have the device, it becomes a throwing knife. So you can actually kill people with the device, but you also have your gun.
Bad.
I think I saw something about that. But yeah, it's the third game mode sounds fun. But yeah, it's hard for me to get excited right now. Apparently Dashi said, I saw a clip of Dashi talking. I think it was around the bar when I was listening to that. He said they tested out the game mode and it was cool. And he also said the IW, and Hitch said the same thing. The IW devs seemed more willing to listen than any IW devs they've ever talked to. They were actually actively interested at champs and actively interested in competitive. So that's at least a little, like, fingers crossed, like a glimmer of hope that maybe the devs care a lot more, which would be really cool. But yeah, Brock, I know I went on for a while there, but your thoughts, Brock?
Oh, my thoughts from the little. I'm gonna play more, but after the little I've played so far, a lot different. Trying to get used to the nose sliding every which way, like you said.
Yeah.
At first, is like, oh, I really feel like I'm stuck in the mud, but that's just how it used to be.
Yeah.
Like you said, tag sprinting, I'm over it. I'd rather just get it gone and time to kill. Other than that, it's not bad so far.
Yeah, my hopes are not high, but I hope to be proven wrong. I think there are a lot of things. Brad's got the glimmer of hope in his eye still. There are a lot of like positives because again, I think the game felt pretty smooth overall. I think the guns felt like they could be pretty fun. I think visually the game looks pretty good. Yeah, gonna have to use Ninja or Dead Silence, whatever they call it, because oh my god, our footsteps
Sound
loud.
whoring is crazy. Yeah.
Like
It's
you're
so
in,
loud.
it's gonna be an absolute, like, sometimes online or on LAN, I know people could get away with just like not using Ninja and respawn. In ranked, if you're playing at home, you literally in respawn you're gonna have to use
Yeah.
Ninja because you cannot ever make a play. You can't move anywhere without them hearing you. The footsteps are insane. I'm not even like a sound whore person. Like I never crank my headset. Like I never put it on like super loud. Never do any of that stuff. Like that's not really just how I play. I don't want to break my eardrums playing ranked. But like I could hear everyone, and a lot of times when you guys say you hear them, I don't even hear a person. Like I could hear everything. So footsteps are insane. The audio is insane.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is like I can see the vision with the gunplay. I can see the vision with the visuals of the game. I am interested in the game modes. There's just, like the movement. I can see the vision. I just can't see it with the maps, Brad. That's the part that's holding me up is the maps. I don't have
Waiting
faith.
for MW 2019 map set again. Fucking just garbage.
Yeah, I don't have faith in the maps. That's my holdup.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just,
Hopefully, there's a couple maps that are decent.
well, I didn't look at it, but I saw somebody did tweet about like there was screenshots of the map, like the overhead of the maps that you always see, and I saw somebody tweeting about it, and I didn't get to really look at it, but apparently they were all like just tiny. Everybody was like, "Where are the competitive maps?" Which is interesting because we're hearing that the developers were maybe the most focused they've ever been on competitive, but then we're also hearing like where the hell are the competitive maps? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. We'll see.
Don't take my glimmer of hope.
Yeah. Oh, see. We'll see, Brad.
Mm.
I again, I would love nothing more than to just be like, 5 months from now, we're in the middle of the season and I'm playing ranked and watching. And I'm like, this game is awesome. I would love nothing more than that. But I don't know. Don't have a ton of faith based in the beta, but anything could change. Vanguard was terrible in the
Whoa!
beta.
Oh, yeah, true.
And even early game Vanguard World War II was terrible in the beta, was what I meant to say. An early game World War II was a horrific game, and they made all the
True.
class changes and everything to adjust your classes, and the game actually became genuinely really fun, and one of the more fun times I've had playing ranked on COD.
Yeah.
It was a
But
fun
yeah,
time.
same thing. I mean, the Vanguard beta was also terrible. The game ended up being kind of fun to play in ranked.
Yeah.
MW3 early game was not great, and it ended up being, in my opinion, the best COD of the CDL era, far and away.
True.
It ended up being the best COD of the CDL era, and that game was not great off the rip. So there always is hope, but it's also Infinity Ward. They get the least amount of faith for good reason.
True. You're not wrong.
I think the beta's live till tomorrow though, so maybe I'll play a little bit tonight.
Well, this is the early access beta, so there's gonna be another open
Yeah.
beta coming out.
Open beta starts, isn't it like it's live till like tomorrow morning, and then I think it like goes down for a few days.
Yeah,
Then it
and then it
comes
opens
back
back
up
up
like
on Thursday, I think.
yeah. So I
Thursday
think
night.
I think it ends tomorrow. Then like the rest of the day, Tuesday and Wednesday, it'll be down. Then either like Thursday or Friday, it comes back out for the open beta.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Good thing Brock reminded us of the beta. I would have just completely forgot.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. Hoping next week we come back and we just have a ton of Rostermania stuff. I'm hoping Scrap and Hydra are signed.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.